Hi, my name is John Sloan and I am sales support in Black Box. For me, sport has always been a big part of my life. From I became a teenager, I found a love of cycling. I think being a teenager and not being able to drive, cycling was that opportunity to be free. You could literally get on your bike and I could disappear for hours. So yeah, cycling was my passion. Always really interested in sport of that nature. Was never good at football and ball sports, so those kind of endurance type sports kind of fitted me quite well. And in my late teens then, as a junior category rider, I was fortunate enough to get selected for the Ulster squad and to cycle at a very high level in that sport. It was my passion. Every free minute that I had was spent cycling and on the bike. So one of my greatest achievements was being able to participate in the Junior Tour of Ireland, which was the pinnacle race as a junior racer that you could participate in the big Grand Tour as it was for junior riders, which was 5.5 days cycling all around the county of Mayo, 80-mile races, big bunch of 100+ riders, and all those riders came from across Europe. So you kind of felt like an international rider at that point. And off the back of all of that, I got selected then for the Ulster squad and got to cycle with them for a season as part of that team. So I cycled competitively until I turned 20, early 20s at that point, and then I started transitioning into running. The reason for that was just time. I didn't have the hours to spend. Training for cycling took 4 or 5 hours just to do one ride. So I started transitioning into running and set my sights and goals on achieving basically half marathons in my early 20s. And the biggest goal of all of that was to run a marathon. And I'd heard Belfast Marathon was a particularly tough one, given that there was a quite large incline up round the zoo and Cave Hill. But the day before the marathon, I noticed that my lymph nodes in the side of my neck were basically enlarged. I could feel them essentially. But marathon day came up, participated, as tough as I had expected it to be. Anyone who's run a marathon can tell you it's definitely a mind over body situation. Freezing cold on that day. I remember running along the lock and it was I was frozen down one side, but kept pushing and ended up coming in with a time of around just under 4 hours, I think it was, which was perfect. My target was 3.5 to 4 hours for the marathon, and I achieved it. 6 to 8 weeks after running that marathon and running a half marathon in the interim period, I was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is a blood cancer, and I was 24 years of age. And yeah, that was pretty crazy. That was 2012. I mean, words fall short to describe what it feels like to be told those words, and I think even more so given that I was so fit and healthy as far as I was concerned. Yeah, so that started me down a path very quickly of chemotherapy. That was the treatment prescribed to try and fix me essentially and to try and make me better. I think my expectations of a cancer diagnosis, I had always assumed that the treatment side of it would be the hard part, and there's no denying that was a physically very demanding time for me. But I got lucky, and I was one of the lucky ones. So 6 months down the line, I got the all clear. But what I hadn't counted on was that actually the hardest battle had still to happen. For the next 3.5 years, I would spend pretty much every day just battling panic attacks, anxiety, and just depression, and it ended up transpiring that really I had post-traumatic stress from the experience of having cancer at such a young age. It had happened so quickly, and I guess being so fit for most of my life, to then having to deal with not having that level of fitness anymore, don't think I realised just how much that had impacted on my brain. And I got very lucky that in 2017, having struggled for quite a few years with all of that the Simon Darby, who is the social worker for Click Sergeant, they're the cancer charity that supported me when I wasn't very well, he reached out and asked me would I consider joining a program called Move Forward. And I initially said no to it because I just was in the wrong place. I thought that was I couldn't even imagine getting involved in that. And bearing in mind I hadn't done anything, like not even riding my bike, nothing, all my passions in that area had disappeared. And second time, the man's persistent, and I can tell you I'm very thankful for the fact that he is. Second time I said, okay, I'll give it a go. Then in 2020, last year, that I'd heard of Black Box Fitness. I'd wanted to join the company before, but there was never an opportunity there. And I'd found out that there was the Battle Cancer were coming over to Black Box essentially to do a bit of a talk and a bit of an open day for the team here. And I was invited down to give a talk at it. And when I arrived and we got to do that, I realized that this was such a like-minded bunch of people that inspired me, and were doing great things within the world of functional fitness and beyond and elite sport. And an opportunity then arose off the back of that to join the sales team. So as part of the sales team in Black Box, we manage most of the sort of offline client inquiries coming through. So that can range from clients looking to fit out their own home gyms. So we'll take the remit from those clients. They'll have a list of kit that they're looking to fit into the space, and we'll offer visual design, so we can put together some designs for that client, basically getting top class quality equipment into those spaces. And that's where the rewarding part of it. You don't realize how much of an impact you make, because you're actually then helping them get fit, but then potentially helping all of their members get fit on top of it. So it's a really rewarding job to be doing, and I absolutely love it. My biggest and proudest job in Black Box has to be the new boundary install. That has been an absolute pleasure to work on. I coach at Boundary CrossFit 1, which has been in existence since last year. And so I kind of understood what those guys were about, and was able to take what worked in Boundary 1 and what didn't work, and help them design a much better flowing facility. And Boundary 2, if you've seen the images and seen the pictures, the place and actually step foot in it is a cool looking CrossFit gym. And yeah, it's been a real pleasure to work on that, and I'm pretty proud of that design. I'm Sloan, and I'm made in Belfast. I could waffle all day, can't I? Let me. That was me trying to keep it short and concise.